What's going on, everybody? My name is Franco, and I'm on the wrong slide. What's going on, everybody? My name is Franco, and today I'm going to be going over some rookies that I feel like you should be looking to get in all of your redraft leagues whenever possible. Now, the trend to get rookies is kind of slowly but surely. I mean, I wouldn't even call it slowly at this point. It's kind of exploding now with the recent successes of rookies such as Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, even Jalen Waddle last year. Everyone wants to get their hands on the next rookie who can be a league winner and just be able to carry you to that championship like Jamar Chase did against me in every championship I was in. But that being said, it's kind of hard to predict the ones that are really going to break out, or really going to, take off and be that superstar, that offensive rookie of the year type player. But that's what we're going to be trying to do today, just seeing some who have landed in great situations or their skill sets really make them too difficult to ignore to try to draft them in your redraft league, not just Dynasty. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Let me know if there's any I missed, and I will be addressing them in hopefully a second version of this video. But with that being said, I tried not to make it too obvious with some of these selections, but Breece Hall is really the one that you just have to go after. Even at that ADP, I feel like his floor is pretty solidly there to be fine drafting him in that early 4th round range. Breece Hall, the product out of Iowa State, was really just a true bell cow for them and has the opportunity to do the exact same for this Jets offense. Put up about over 4,500 yards for his 3 years there. Had some catches out of the backfield as well, about 50 touchdowns. So he was just an efficient, strong running back who has that chance, especially since the Jets drafted up to get him into the second rounds. And there's really not a lot standing in his way, given Michael Carter shouldn't be too much of a force in that backfield. I really don't think he's going to be splitting snaps with Breece Hall too long. I think it'll be a pretty safe scenario for Breece Hall to get the majority of them by, at the very worst, week 4 or 5. He's just too talented not to, and this Jets offense will really be functioning on all cylinders with him in that offense, especially given the amount of playmakers they've added in this recent year. I really actually love what the Jets are doing, just giving Zach Wilson all the help he can possibly get, whether that's drafting Garrett Wilson and bringing in Corey Davis, who didn't really work out last year, but he's, when he's healthy, he can still be explosive for them. I think this is just a very good team going forward. This offense should be fun, and even if they're not that great, it'll be a very good fantasy football offense, and I see Breece Hall finishing no worse than running back 20, even running back 15, I think is very within reach for him. Treylon Burks. There's a million different rookie running backs, wide receivers this year, and it's kind of hard to pick them. I'm trying not to repeat. It's like I know Jahan Dotson from last video, so I'm going to go with Treylon Burks. He was just an amazing route runner last year. He's strong, he's efficient, he's yard... Whoa. I forgot what I was going to say. Treylon Burks is another one that I'm targeting a lot in this year's draft. He's strong, he's efficient, great route runner, drafted in the 1st round by the Tennessee Titans, and obviously, as we all know by now, who traded A.J. Brown to Philly, got the pick in return that they used to draft Burks. This is one that I think is going to be similar to Breece Hall, and also just similar to this list as a whole, both in the sense of fit and just overall skill. Burks is incredibly skilled, he's fast, and he's quick, he's athletic, and I really don't see any way that he doesn't become an immediate factor in fantasy football, mostly also given the situation as well. He won't be competing for snaps with basically anybody outside of Robert Woods, and even then Woods is coming off a pretty major injury, and I have full trust that Treylon Burks will become a quick favorite target at Tannehill's as long as they get their repertoire down in training camps, and it just should be a decent enough offense. I'm not expecting the Titans to be the same offense that they've been in the past 3 to 4 years when Tannehill was a little more explosive, Derrick Henry wasn't coming off an injury. But I think it's going to be good enough, especially at the ADP of 90, for Treylon Burks to really turn it around and honestly maybe even be a top 30 wide receiver this year. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, these wide receivers, like even like a Justin Jefferson type, are the ones who you don't really predict to be this good. Like I'm sure Justin Jefferson was projected to be like a wide receiver 40 at this ADP. So I wouldn't necessarily be scared off by taking a rookie in this late round, as long as you build the rest of your team up to kind of make it so that this is like your risky play, but it works out in the end, because even if they don't produce, you have a competent starting lineup that you can play around with. I'm getting distracted. My next one is James Cook. We're going back to the running backs. He was drafted out of Georgia to the Buffalo Bills, and he just really has a great opportunity to shine as a pass-catching back, although it's a little bit risky to say if he will be the full predominant running back, number 1 going forward for the Bills. The Bills are a very weird offense because they're one of the best in the league. I would argue they might be the best in the league, but they're even very run-heavy as it is. Josh Allen tends to take a lot of the runs away from these running backs. It depends on the time of the year, really. Towards the end of last season, they tried to give Devin Singletary the majority of the snaps, which worked. He ended up being the running back 3 over the last 5 weeks, which is crazy to say. But that being said, we're not sure how long that's going to carry on, or if Cook is good enough to take that role away from Devin Singletary, which I'm not sure he is, or I'm not sure he's proven enough yet. Because Singletary did great work for them last year. Where James Cook will, I feel like, really thrive is in the pass catching abilities he has. I can see him being a great option out of the backfield for some quicker checkdowns or some screen plays designed to him, because he's very fast, and that was what he was showing in Georgia, just being a great pass catching back. And with a lot of options on the Bills leaving the team, whether that's Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, I think it opens up a lot of targets. And while he might not fill all of them, especially at an ADP of 114, he has a ceiling to definitely be at least in that flex category once the Bills finally figure out how to utilize him, wherever that is in the season. I think he's a good upside pick here. And while the floor might be pretty low, at this ADP, you could definitely take the risk. Damian Pierce, I've talked about him in prior videos, but as a Texans fan, I just can't help myself. He's drafted out of the 4th round by the Texans out of Florida, and he's just a very strong, powerful running back who can get you the yards that you need, very good after contact, but I'm not really sure in his ability to win this running back situation right out of the gate. But that being said, it's the Houston Texans. There's competition is Marlon Mack and Rex Burkhead, and while he might not be the starting running back week 1, this team most likely won't be going anywhere, and they would want to see what they have out of the young talent. And I also just believe that Damian Pierce is honestly just as, if not more talented than Marlon Mack at this stage, especially given Marlon Mack is coming off an injury. So I would definitely like to take him, especially at that ADP. That means you can get him in some of the last rounds of your draft, and taking a potential running back 1 on any team, even if it is the Texans, taking the running back 1 on a team at an ADP of 140 is just a really, really good solid strategy where you have him kind of just sitting on your bench for a little while, and you're eventually able to plug and start him if you need an injury or a bye week replacement. I think he's a very high upside with, obviously a very low floor, but given the ADP he's being drafted around, it would be dumb not to take a risk on him. So Christian Watson is another one that has a higher ADP but is lower on the wide receiver rankings, and this one is mostly off of just pure situational stances with Devontae Adams leaving, MVS leaving. Allen Lazard is a wide receiver 1, which gives Christian Watson the ability to take over and be that wide receiver 2, or even be the wide receiver 1 in an offense led by Aaron Rodgers, which is really all you can ask for out of a rookie. He's a nice, efficient, strong, and also very fast wide receiver who I think will become one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets. I'm not sure how long it'll take for him to be that receiver, but just given Aaron Rodgers' just skill and ability, the table's all set for Christian Watson to have a full breakout campaign. I know a lot of people were hoping that the Packers would take like a Jahan Dotson or even Treylon Burks type in round 1, try to trade up for one of those guys as well, but I think they did a good job landing Christian Watson in the 2nd round, and I think he makes an immediate fantasy contribution for them and for your teams as well. Now, I tried to make it a little more diverse. I didn't want to only do running backs, wide receivers, so I wanted to do a quarterback and I wanted to do a tight end. And Kenny Pickett is really the only quarterback who I see playing meaningful time in, honestly, the whole season. I don't know if he wins the job from Trubisky, but they signed him in week 1. They signed him in the 1st round for a reason, and I think at some point he will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which just gives him the upside of any other quarterback, besides maybe even Desmond Riddler is the only other one I consider here. But Pickett has a great arm, he's got good speed, and I just think he's not going to be like as crazy league winner that you might think of at the quarterback position, but in a Superflex league you could do a lot worse than taking a chance on him in a later round than maybe some other starting quarterbacks, just based on his potential alone. And to make it up at the tight end position, there's not a lot of rookie tight ends I like this year in the same way that I like Jelani Woods, as I've mentioned in prior videos, so I know I'm repeating things. But out of Indianapolis Colts, he was drafted from Virginia, and he just has the pass-catching ability to really make a mark on a team that is not only just devoid of pass-catching tight ends, but pass catchers in general. They have Michael Pittman as their wide receiver 1, not a lot of wide receiver depth, and then they have Mo Alley-Cox as their starting tight ends with the departure of Jack Doyle, so I don't really see Jelani Woods having a super difficult path to becoming starting or like a pretty, I would rather say going to be a very important part of the offense. Maybe even around midseason. At his ADP, he's obviously not getting drafted in a redraft league. But as soon as you hear the rumblings about Jelani Woods starting to maybe pick up some traction in the Colts offense, I would recommend getting on that immediately, because he will be a meaningful contributor with his size and his skill set in an offense that should be pretty high powered this year with given the new addition of Matt Ryan. So those are some rookies that I like this year. I'm definitely making a part 2 because there's so many I left off, and I really want to try to get all kind of outlined for this upcoming season. So let me know which ones I missed. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next video.